beat, no filter in sight. Jason's got the insights, always gets it right. Sean's the wild card with a laugh in the night. On FolkLOOR, they banter about the latest fight. FolkLOOR podcast, stories non-stop, entertainment, gossip, and tech's new crop. Loud opinions, like a punk rock bop. Marcus, Jason, Sean, they never drop.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the FolkLOOR podcast. I'm Marcus Bibbin, Sean Tomlin, and Jason Terror from Above Farley. Welcome everybody.
Welcome to another edition.
That was too dramatic, man. That doesn't go over ska music very well.
No, I know. Welcome to another edition of Ska Drama.
Ska drama.
That's nice.
That's good. That could be something.
Ska drama's nice, yeah. Like Real Big Fish and No Doubt get into like a gang war in Anaheim.
they and you just have oi 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 shouting as they stab each other.
Yeah, and they're all fighting they're fighting over who's got the more legit Doc Martens. It feels like months since we did a podcast.
I know, but it was only last week. We've been busy at Lore. You want to talk about that? You want to there's a lot going on behind the scenes. I feel like I'm on meetings from at least 8 a.m. till late afternoons now. Like today's been nonstop. I think me and Sean have been on meetings back to back most of the day. So just doing a bunch of preparation for the future and all good things. So Sean, you want to talk about what's coming up?
I feel like we're on the verge of something big.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. That's 100%.
We're gonna look back at the podcast and go, remember those simple times before things really blew up and got crazy? Remember the days before Jason needed full-time security?
Yeah. There's very few situations I haven't been able to smile my way out of. That's
well, wait.
I'm big and hairy and smiley and yeah.
I don't even know how to respond to that. It's amazing.
They're like, well, I mean, it's Santa. We don't want to, hurt Santa. That's what usually happens.
Yeah. Have you ever dressed up as Santa? Just curious.
Yes, I have. But my wife won't let me get the really nice Santa costume because she knows I would wear it at all the wrong times.
Right. Beyond the Christmas window.
Yeah, it'd be like, oh, it's Halloween. I'm Santa for Halloween again.
Yeah. I have that thing with Annette. I have a real thing with mariachi costumes. I tend to wear them outside of the Halloween season.
See, next week you have to be on a mariachi. You have to wear your mariachi costume.
I've identified some of the sources online, and then there's this great little store in downtown LA that I need to go to and get a proper one. But I'm going to get a proper mariachi. I think they're cool.
Yeah, I feel like mariachi ska band could be that could be the next thing.
Mariachi ska band. I would not be surprised if one of them.
I'm sure. We should see if our band can do that style. I'm sure they can.
Yeah, I'll ask them.
Could you?
I will. Well, and mariachi and ska both have German roots musically, right? So they fit right together.
They actually work well together. Because there's trombone in both. You can even work the specials work accordion. You can work, mariachi's got accordion, and I think we're on to something.
I think so.
We're creating not only TV shows here and movies.
New music genres, guys. New music genres.
Yeah.
That's innovation. No one has the guts. no one else, like any other media company you would go to and say, "Hey, I got a crazy idea for a mix between mariachi and ska," they would laugh you out of the room. But we're like, well, no, like let's at least hear it.
I mean, with the rate that we're trending right now, I could see mariachi ska band on main stage Coachella a year from now.
Yeah, 100%.
I think so. I think so. Yeah, because Kanye spot's open. So
yeah,
that's true.
Yay.
That's true.
Oh yay. By the way, Coachella just happened week 1. This is the first year in almost 20 years I did not go.
It's like in your backyard too, though, isn't it?
Right over there. Yeah, right past that. Right there.
Were you disappointed when you saw that Bernie was there?
I heard about it and I haven't really dove into that. I think it's probably obvious I don't like Bernie, but I don't like him for reasons most people don't realize. He's a pedophile. I just said that. Did you read it? Okay, so at first you're like, it's kind of silly stuff. But no, he wrote a paper. Did you read the paper he wrote?
No.
Somebody dug it up. It's legit. It's not a fake. All I say to everybody out there in the interweb, read the paper he wrote in college and then come back to me and you go, oh, yeah, Sean's right.
Okay.
So right out the gate, not a fan of him. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He could be the lead singer of our favorite mariachi ska band, and I wouldn't go to his.
You'd go, no, not gonna.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
That's amazing. Now I'm very curious about the content of this paper.
I like to just tease that, and then you guys do the.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, let's. I'm trying to think. Like, let's talk about the headline for this show, which is Nate Bargatze. You know, there's no natural transition from Bernie Sanders as a pedophile to.
There you go. That end the show right there.
I think the transition is, man, I wish there was some great comedian that you were completely confident had never been to a Diddy party. Well, there is Nate Bargatze. What's he up to?
Nate Bargatze. There we go.
What's he up to?
He's hosting the 77th Emmy Awards.
That's brilliant.
I know.
That's really great news.
It really is.
I'm just kind of like at the point. Do you guys remember? I think was it TNN, the Nashville Network? Remember that channel?
I remember it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But but like that old like TNN, that Hee Haw, that Carol Burnett sort of like late night sort of or comedy sketch style variety. Yeah. Dude, just give Nate the show already. Yeah. Did you guys see the Christmas?
Oh yeah, it was incredible.
The Nashville Christmas. It was unbelievable. Like I was watching that and I was thinking like, give the man the show. Like what is, maybe he doesn't want to do it. Yeah. I mean, that could be he doesn't want to like just have the.
It's a ton of work, first of all.
Yeah, it's complexity of that schedule of any weekly show or even like a daily talk show would be insane. But dude, like at least give the man. Like I want to see. I think the timing is right, and I have evidence for this. I think the timing is right for a mainstream pop culture country sketch show, like in the days of Hee Haw or Grand Ole Opry variety style. And the reason I say that is because me and my wife watch American Idol every year, and this year it's all country and it's pretty much all gospel as like the top people. Like it's amazing. And I know that part of that's probably because they brought Carrie Underwood on as a judge, but the other thing is like there's a reason they brought Carrie Underwood on as a judge. Like, and American Idol is pretty good at feeling the room, and reading the room, and so I think if like American Idol can basically just commit to country music and gospel music as the majority of all their contestants, then I think we're about to see like a real sort of upturn in country music, especially. I mean, that's what people think you're supposed to do during a Trump election term, right? Like they think everybody's really into that and stuff. And that's why I think if Nate Bargatze did like a classical country sketch comedy show, I think it would be massive.
I'm so curious how you. First of all, I'm super impressed that you know about Hee Haw. That was before your time. How do you know about Hee Haw?
So my grandparents are from rural North Carolina. My grandpa's from South Carolina.
Okay.
My grandpa would always take me to bluegrass concerts. He would always watch whatever the antenna country channel was. That was just always playing like Hee Haw reruns and all that sort of stuff. Carol Burnett, me and my parents would watch Carol Burnett show on Nick at Night. I think we probably had Hee Haw on Nick at Night too.
They had Hee Haw on Nick. That's what I'm wondering because I don't recall Hee Haw having reruns. But Jason, do you know? Jason, expert in all things.
I know Hee Haw had reruns because I watched them with my mom growing up.
Yeah, it was a great show. For anybody who doesn't know what the heck we're talking about, back in the 70s, there was this window like the Lawrence Welk show, Sonny and Cher, the Osmonds with Donnie and Marie Osmond, and Hee Haw, and the Carol Burnett show. And that's a great idea to bring that back. There's probably enough talent. But anyways, a lot of country stars doing different skits. One of the famous people was Minnie Pearl. She always wore a hat.
The price tag on it,
which we all remember, which is so bizarre. We all remember her and talk about the price tag. Which is
I probably couldn't think of a single sketch unless you reminded me. But I definitely know her hat. But just the whole, overalls, and as my grandma would say, dungarees, I'm from the South, so I think that stuff is still pretty adamant, at least in the older culture, they still remember that. But it's more than that. It's all the Smothers Brothers, all that, like all that sort of like classic variety show stuff.
And it was campfire television. I mean, the whole campfire TV, like the whole family sat around the campfire. You watched the same way you watched the World Kingdom. There's Mutual of Omaha's World Kingdom or Wild Kingdom.
Yeah.
And then you had Disney night, and then you had Hee Haw, and everybody watched Hee Haw. I think the whole country watched it.
Yeah.
Well, and the Dead Milkmen in their song "Punk Rock Girl" have a whole verse about Minnie Pearl. It's universal.
Right. Nice to tie it right back to punk rock, and you did it so deftly. It was nice.
Yeah,
I used to listen to the Smothers Brothers records.
Yeah, they were from my hometown. They had a winery up in Kenwood, where I grew up, Smothers Brothers. So they were kind of, we had the Smothers Brothers, and then we had the Schultz family, and that was like our claim to fame. That was our celebrity.
Yeah, and anytime me and my wife go to like thrift stores or antique stores, we look through the vinyl records for like old like comedy albums you've never heard of before. Like, and a lot of that is like country based, that sort of stuff. And I think, I'm just telling you, if Nate Bargatze is getting headline Emmy, hosting, because I don't think there's anything more classic country variety than Bargatze right now, and if he's headlining the Emmys, that is, I think, huge. And I think there's a real mainstream for that. I think that's how you're going to see conservatism return to like mainstream media, is through that sort of thing. It's the same thing as like Carrie Underwood on American Idol, and
that's all by design, by the way.
Well,
those are safe bets for Hollywood to go, hey, we're not pro-conservative, but we're okay with these people who they know bring those people into the tent.
That's exactly right. But that market's always been there.
Yeah.
It just can't be ignored now.
Well, they've just been giving it the middle finger for the last
that's right. Now they're on like an apology tour. But yeah, that's exactly how it'll go. So somebody is gonna get that massive deal for a Bargatze sketch comedy show, and it's gonna go nuts. And he's gonna take a bunch of SNL writers, and it's gonna crush.
If the investment community is any read on the buzz with Lore TV, it could be us.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I'm telling you, I'll say we get the investment. I'll sign Bargatze tomorrow. We'll do the show.
The thing about Bargatze, what's so important, and we're probably all saying his name wrong, but I try to say it. His daughter says it on his specials. I got to rewatch it. But the thing about him is like, it's the idea of clean, not even clean comedy, just normal everyday comedy that doesn't hit a third rail. And like Stephen Wright is like that.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of Stephen Wright lately, and I go back to those Stephen Wright specials, and he never did anything that was risque, that was vulgar, nothing that really touched a third rail of politics or religion. It's just pure, genuine comedy. And it wasn't so squeaky clean that, he turned off teenagers.
Right.
It's
the comedy that's based on wit rather than shock.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So we need more of that. And Nate is just, I think there's a lot more Nates out there in the world, And it's,
I think so. And, this kind of brings me into the point that we were talking about too with Saturday Night Live and the sketch comedy that they just did, which, Jason, you want to set that up? I'm going to try to find it.
It's the,
was it from this week or was this previously?
I think it was this last week. Yeah, you have John Hamm hosting, and you've got two young couples and an older gay couple who shows up at a party with a baby that they didn't have the day before, and they start asking questions, and they just keep getting offended at the questions, and it's a pretty funny sketch.
It's called New Parents. I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling it up right now.
We're gonna try to. What do we got to talk over it, or can we put it in a mortise? Where are all the tricks we do so we don't get a.
I think we have to talk over it to keep from.
Yeah, just be really loud. No, I'm just. We'll figure it out. I'm pulling it up. Set it up.
By the way, the chat room is just on fire right now.
Yeah, it's blowing up today.
I was wondering the same thing.
There's so many people.
Yeah, sometimes when the memo goes out to too many people.
Well, no, I think it's just, I don't know if you guys heard, like 4chan got hacked this week. And I just think just everyone's afraid to talk in chat rooms now.
Yeah. Our particular audience is hiding because 4chan got hacked.
You never know. It's all Anon accounts. You never know.
Yeah, they're all in their in their tinfoil lined rooms.
It wasn't just that. Spotify was down today, and then Zoom was down as well.
Yeah.
Both under attack. So,
any word on who's claiming responsibility? Is it?
I just heard it was like a pro-Palestine hacker group. That's what I heard.
Gaza group. Gaza group. Yeah.
But that anytime I hear something like that, it just always sounds like propaganda, and so I'm just like, well, they'll figure it. They'll figure it out. We'll see. So. All right, so we'll talk over this, but this is the sketch they did.
Wow, this is really nice.
But basically, it's called New Parents, and you have these couples who just suddenly show up with the baby the next day.
I can't remember the last time we saw Friends 2 days in a row.
Yeah, and when you watch enough SNL, you start seeing when they are reusing sets.
Yeah. Everyone, by the way, everybody plays this so well.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
You can't hear it, huh?
Can't hear it,
Well-
yeah.
Whose baby is that?
Excuse me? It's ours.
Wait, but how?
Okay, I'm sorry, but gay people can't have a baby?
Yeah, but like, where did it come from?
Excuse me?
Excuse me?
Wow, you are not allowed to talk like
That
that.
is so invasive.
Invasive.
Like we were with you last night and you did not have a baby.
Yeah, and you guys said that after dinner you were going to go to a rave called Bulge Dungeon. And now today you have a baby.
What
So-
we're asking is, how did this happen?
Okay, I'm sorry. Why is it when it's us an interrogation? I don't ask you why you're poor.
I want you $10,000.
There's a vulgar scene in here coming up too for some of
Okay, well, I think that's enough to get the
That's
point.
enough, yeah.
Yeah, and so, yeah, I think, but I think it's just fascinating that sketch can exist or does exist on Saturday Night Live as of 2 weeks ago, and like, is Hollywood in just such a bad economic state? They're just like, man, we really gotta just give the conservatives what they want, or do you think this is part of me thinks this is what they've been wanting to do but haven't been allowed to do?
I think we got to know like the backstory, whose idea was it? Because, I mean, the reality is they're not, SNL is SNL. They're not.
No, I mean, like Bowen Yang was in the sketch.
Yeah, right.
And
So
like there's supposed rumors. Yeah, there's supposed rumors that I want to say it's when Bargatze is on. He is not on any sketch because he doesn't agree with his church or something. I don't know if it's Bargatze, but it was one host that they had on that Bowen Yang was not in any sketch as a protest, and I don't remember who that was, but it was because of anti-gay comment. So there is this weird sort of thing where it's like, yeah, Bowen would not do that, but then he would do that.
What they're doing there is how it should be. Bowen's having fun with the role and with the scene, and everybody's having fun with it. I mean, it's like it's a really nice moment because everybody's having fun with it, and it's not taking anyone down per se. And Bowen does a good job. So I don't know. I think it'd just be so interesting to know the backstory, because the fact that Bowen is there playing it means that if he's cool with it, that's a big deal, right?
Right.
And I think it does feel like SNL has gotten back to what's important is that it's funny. And that's what really made SNL what SNL was, that they always did whatever was funniest. And then they seemed to have really pulled back for a while from that and tried to always be politically correct. But now they're back to what's the funniest possible joke, which is I think good news for comedy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just it's okay for comedy to offend people. Again, is kind of the way I see it. So
yeah, that's the core of it right there. Is that we should all have the right to be offended, if that makes sense, or like, nothing is sacred. Like we're all worthy of being made fun of. All of us.
Right.
No perfect person in the room that you cannot make fun of. Like we all have something to be made fun of. And it's like, it's that spirit of like, and that's what great comedians are kind of ranting about. Like, yeah, in the old days, we could just all make fun of each other and it was okay because we're really all good friends,
Right. Well, and I think like, a group of guys together poking fun at each other is a group of guys being friends. Like if you don't know somebody, you can't joke around and, make fun of each other. But it's also one of the ways that we grow and learn to see ourselves is when everybody laughs at a joke and you go, oh, I guess I am like that, right? Like we actually need comedy to function in that way for a society to have, to not be for everybody to not be so afraid that they have to pretend like they're all the same person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You know who and not everyone loves him, but I think he's a good guy and he's funny, is Greg Gutfeld. He talks about it at Fox. He's like, we all make fun of each other, and that's actually a sign of camaraderie. And he's like, the people I really don't get along with, you just don't hear me make fun of them. when you watch the shows every time and you can see who he doesn't poke fun at, and you're like, oh, okay, you know exactly who he's who's going to take it too seriously. But they all riff and they make fun of each other, but it's like a way of endearment. Like
I mean, if you've ever been in the green room where there's a bunch of comedians around, if you've ever just hung out with comedians, they all trash each other all the time. And they make jokes about each other, different races, all sorts of stuff. They do it all the time. And then some of those jokes really land, and then that goes out on stage. Yeah, that's just how it is. So I think that whole period of the past maybe 5 years or more 8 years since 2016, where this comedy has been like, there's been comedy that's basically been illegal. I think people are rebelling against that pretty harshly now. But Jason, we haven't gotten to your trivia question.
Oh yeah, we'll find out if there is any.
I have something very special for your
all right
for it, and it's Jason's trivia.
Amazing. I love that you call it a trivia lesson instead of a trivia question.
Yeah, that's right. Isn't that fantastic? Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
We're watching the development of this segment in real time.
It's a trivia lesson. All right, let's go. Let's hear it.
Hey, Victor says so Vegas. Okay. All right. We'll find out if there's anyone in the chat or not, because here is your trivia question. So the technology for cable was invented from 1948 to 1950.
As in like cable,
like cable television.
Cable television, not the cable, like the physical
wire. Well, the coaxial cable probably would have been part of what was developed during that time. Okay. But in 1952, it was regulated to protect over-the-air TV. And so it never really took off. But then it was deregulated in 1972. And that's when cable channels started to arrive. So premium cable launches right after it's deregulated, like HBO, Showtime. And in 1976, TBS became the first basic cable network to launch. So basic cable was born in 1976. But in late 1975, in order to test the technology, they broadcast a famous sporting event using the new satellites and coaxial system to test the technology. What was that sporting event?
Wow, man.
We got there.
I already forgot the question because I'm rewinding back to the beginning of the tape for the setup.
So what was the sporting event that they broadcast to test the technology of the new satellite coaxial system? TBS paid for it, and they couldn't launch until they knew that the system worked. So they put a famous sporting event on to test it.
I mean, first of all, I don't even want to try and guess because I've never gotten one of your answers correct, and I have.
Wait, did you say though that cable was invented in the 40s and 50s?
Yeah, in 1948 it was invented. The tech was invented. Yes, and so in 1950, the actual system to be able to put cable TV into people's houses was invented. So 48, the tech was invented. 58, the system was invented, and so they started installing it. But to protect on-air TV, they regulated cable, and it never took off.
But in the 72, 70s?
Until the 70s. In 72, when they deregulated it, that's when that's why you finally have HBO launch. First just in New York and then nationally. Yep. So
that
was about over 20 years.
That upsets me so much.
Isn't that sad?
That's 25 years. Like, just think of like everything we could have had.
I know.
And because it was through cable systems too, it could have been like saved and preserved too, like in a way that over the air couldn't have been or wasn't. That is amazing and very, very sad. And it makes me wonder what other technologies already exist that regulation is stopping us from enjoying.
That's true. Like I think
that is a lot. Like
the cell phone, I think, was invented in 1412. And regulation was
I believe it.
Right after the video camera.
Right before Columbus got here, yeah.
What did the Egyptians invent that was stopped by regulation?
They invented satellite. They invented satellite TV, by the way.
I believe that. Yeah, wow. That's amazing. That's amazingly. I mean, if you think about it, like, you know, TV has been on. We've had TV almost 100 years now, but for the most part, about at least 75. But the fact that we could have been well into 100 years of like that much cable, 75 years of cable would have been amazing. I just wonder how much that would have affected, you know, like, could you imagine like Adult Swim in the 60s? Right? Like, you know, like these are, you know, Nickelodeon and Food. I mean, Food Network in the 60s would have been amazing, right? Like that would have been, you know, so I don't know.
We would have had foodies way earlier. We got
so much I think Campbell soup like recipes are just gone.
Was this a professional sporting event? I just want to narrow it.
It was a professional sporting event. You've probably heard of it. I bet you've heard of it.
Okay. Well, I'm stumped. I guess we'll have to wait until the end, which is coming close here. Should we move on to more segments? Do we have more segments?
Well, you had a story you wanted to share about Apple.
Oh man, I get so many stories about Apple. Well, I mean, today I needed to buy a new charger because I left my charger in Los Angeles, California, which is a little ways away. So I went to Best Buy to buy a charger. Hold on. And, you know, first of all, it's a $98 item, which is redonkulous. But I get the thing, and I'm like, it is like it's like a puzzle. It's like this box and this thing and this stuff. And each one of these is an interlocking. You gotta like.
It looks like a belt, like a belt for a tool.
And then there's and then just because they're like, oh, we need to keep them separated, and so they like separate this cable with this cable, and then this thing's got this like power brick condom thing on it you've got to peel off. If that's not enough, this one does too, because you don't want to scratch it. And so by the time, 27 minutes later, I've got the thing out and I go to plug it in and put it in, and it's the wrong cable. Yeah, so I got to go back to Best Buy, but it got me thinking about the show I've been wanting to pitch you guys for a long time.
Okay,
so what's white, obsolete, and born in China? That's my trivia question.
I'm in.
You know the answer? And I hope some of my people here, like Victor, can relate to this. But here's the answer: the dongle.
The dongle.
The dongle. Can I tell you, my freaking collection of dongles is out of hand. I've got like the street value of this box is something like $7,000 of dongles. Thanks to that wicked goblin named Steve Jobs and all of his weirdos, like the claim they're all, we're environmentalists, we're from Northern California, we want to fill up the landfills. Well, guess what, buddies? So anyways, I've got this pitch, and the story is about the dongles, and these are all these once really meaningful little guys that had a purpose, and people went and bought this and like, oh my God, I can convert my, I've got the mini and then I've got the iPhone thing and I can put it in. And then all of a sudden, Steve Jobs or Tim Cook makes a change and like, this thing's obsolete. And so is this. And so is this. Anyways, I got a whole story about these guys. It's an animated series. It's about the dongles and it's about their struggles through life kind of being obsolete, but they don't either eBay or the garbage bin. So
it's like toys for old men.
It's like
Toy Story.
Old men. That's exactly
Toy Story for old men.
This is the Apple thing to the mini jack.
Oh yeah.
And this guy's name is actually Jack. So I just kind of, this is a call to action to everybody. I need an animator, I need a writer, and I need like a production.
I think that show's a hit, and I
do too. Have you ever gone down the YouTube hole about the toy play videos when kids tell stories with their toys and they like edit to whole TV shows using their toys?
I need some inspiration. I want some inspiration from.
I'll send you my favorites.
Because I think we've got a hit on our hands. And there's all kinds of
Dongle
characters.
Kong.
There's Jack. There's
Godzilla versus King Dongle.
But I've got like Jack, Mini Jack, Scuzzy.
That's
USB boy. I've got all these characters, and I think it's a larger social commentary on how people are just tossed aside when they're no longer valuable to society.
You've got to have it's got to be an anti killing the old people.
I think this is. You should say this is about respecting boomers, and we'll raise millions of dollars. Like this is what this show is. Like that's how you do it.
Just for the record,
that's how you initiate that transfer of wealth. You just say, we're gonna do. So
the opening scene is this fancy like Tesla Ferrari car pulls up the convertible. And it's like 2 earbuds, and then another kind of beat up car that's like a Honda Accord convertible, and it's 2 wired buds, and they just kind of and the wireless buds just look at them and just shake their nose up and just and that's the start of the show. Speaking of pitches, we have been getting mail. This one, some of our mail came priority.
Wow.
Do you want to hear?
I'm ready.
Because I don't know how much time we have. I got some emails too. I printed out one of the emails. I don't know. It's a lot of people are pitching shows. Is that okay?
Electronic mail.
This one's from Chad with 2 D's. He says, yes, 2 Ds, don't ask. Hey, lore legends, I'm begging you, please fund a show about a secret underground fight club for washed up Saturday morning cartoon mascots. Like imagine, you listened to our show last week, he's like imagine the Kool-Aid man going full John Wick because Tony the Tiger stole his sugar stash. It's gritty, it's violent, it's breakfast. Also, if Quentin Tarantino wants to direct, I'll give you all the money in my sock drawer, $48, and a Baby Yoda Fez dispenser. That's actually probably good value. Fruity Pebbles Fury. What do you think? So that's a show pitch.
Well, I think Lucky the Leprechaun has got to show up like jacked because he's been doing keto and just lifting.
Who?
Lucky the Leprechaun from Lucky Charms.
Oh, yeah. Is he? I heard he's out of work.
I mean, it's you leprechauns are out. Leprechauns were last year.
Oh man.
That's a thing. I remember when Leprechauns was super big, and I think that cereal kicked it off. And I feel like that's an underprivileged or an underserved.
Technically, though, the Leprechauns were never big.
They weren't. You know what's big right now, especially in the new age community, is machine elves. That's big.
What's the next?
Some of you guys might get that joke. Here's one more.
Wait, real quick, since we're talking about breakfast. Did you see? Because I mentioned the Cocoa Puff, and you sent it to me after you watched it. I want your thoughts because people thought I was crazy when I said this is amazing.
Okay, so just to set it up for anybody who didn't hear this last week, Marcus shared with us this awesome deep dive documentary about the conspiracy of the Cocoa Puffs bunny rabbit, right?
No, the bird.
And I thought you were joking. The bird. Sorry, the bird. I thought you were joking, but I was like, okay. I looked it up, and sure enough, there it is by this guy Alex. I forget Alex's last name who does it, but it is wow. Talk about a rabbit hole that I could not climb out.
And the production is amazing, right? Like he films like the red string boards and just shout out to him. I'll find it. I'll find his channel because
not that this is a spoiler alert, but just to kind of to frame it out, the conspiracy is it's the one kid cereal cartoon where the cartoon character doesn't want the cereal.
It is,
which sounds ridiculous, but then he takes you back. He goes into his time machine, his Cocoa Puff time machine, to the first commercial, and sure enough, the bird never wants the cereal because he's got an addiction problem. And it all sounds ridiculous until you watch this thing. So thank you, Marcus.
I'll share the screen. The guy's name is the guy's name is Alex Bale.
Alex Bale, Bale. The Cocoa Puff. By the way, he's got another one.
The Cocoa Puffs Conspiracy Theory by Alex Bale. It is the best 26 minutes you will spend on YouTube. And just like, you don't have to play any of it, but like just look at the production of this is just it's out of control. It's just so I'm just telling you, you talk about like I think like this is actually an important discussion, and I want to have this discussion later. But like the difference between content and entertainment, and like I think like that's a great example of like either riding the line or just being purely in the entertainment category. Because I would sign like a 12-episode deal on his conspiracy theories on cartoons. I think it's amazing.
It reminds me, if anybody ever saw Adam Ruins Everything, that was born first on collegehumor.com or Funny or Die, one of those two, and then True TV picked it up as a series. I mean, you guys ever watched it? Oh, yeah. Adam Ruins Everything.
I love Adam. I love that show.
It's absolutely genius, and this reminds me of that kind of. I mean, he really puts his time and attention and research into the product, and it's not scrappy. And he's got what, something
1.1 million subscribers. Yeah. So
he did not set that up in his like basement in an hour. I mean, that thing took some time. So highly recommend. We had one more letter.
I'm ready.
Hear it? This one's weird. I don't know what to think of this one. It says, "Hey, Lore team." This person spelled Lore, Lore.
Shameful.
Shameful.
Shame.
Shame. But I understand. I understand the confusion. We've all done it. I need a sketch comedy show hosted by a reanimated, disgruntled Shakespeare who now writes only bizarro TikTok parodies. One skit he does is to yeet or not to yeet. And another was just Hamlet doing stand-up about mommy issues. I think SNL meets Adult Swim, but everyone has a British accent and drinks LaCroix with malice. You're our only hope. Sincerely and chaotically, Riku69.
That is fantastic. I just love the idea of drinking LaCroix with malice. That's
too.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
I hate LaCroix.
Yeah, and you could have Macbeth just doing stand up about his wife. I mean, it'd be hilarious.
Is he doing stand up comedy or lie down comedy?
Depends on where you are in the play, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I like that. We can workshop.
Yeah,
this
I need to read more Shakespeare to keep up with you guys.
You do. It's true.
It's true.
There's a great conspiracy theory about Shakespeare. Have you ever seen the one about Shakespeare is actually Sir Francis Bacon?
Oh, I haven't seen the Sir Francis Bacon one. I've seen a different lord from the time that was using Shakespeare as his way of putting out stuff that he couldn't put out.
Yeah, look up the one about Sir Francis Bacon. That is, I actually have a visual for that. I could show you. I'll show it to you next week. How about that?
Yeah. They're really interesting, but I don't buy any of those conspiracies.
Yeah. Well, you might after when I show you what I'm going to show you. When I show you the photo overlay of Sir Francis Bacon and Shakespeare, you might. Yeah. The actual photo.
Yeah.
Next week.
Before the camera was stopped by the government.
That's right. Boy, if there wasn't a more tantalizing teaser for next week, I don't know what is. This will keep them coming. We have some funny. All of a sudden, people woke up.
Yeah, it took a while for the algorithm to get into people's feeds, man. So.
What else do we have? What else? There was something else really exciting to share with the world today.
I had I sent you guys a text message. I don't know if I don't remember the name of the guy that did it, but there was I'd have to go back to our text messages and find it. But there was this guy that did this. He quit his job and he's a designer, and he basically did this 30-minute episode. This was called the Sandwich episode, and he's a logo designer, so he's worked with like Nike, he's worked with he's worked everywhere. He did this 30-minute episode where he went to his local sandwich shop and he designed for them basically a complete design book for how they should implement their logos and like menus and like he did the whole thing. And it was one of the most phenomenally crafted documentary episode. Like every shot was gorgeous. Like it wasn't your typical YouTube sort of thing. I think the guy only had like 30,000 subscribers. I have no idea how that managed to get into my feed, but it was tremendous. So let me see if I can find. I want to
find out his name. I found it. It's giving a small sandwich shop
a big rebrand for free.
Yeah, giving us yes. So
and it's SUPR
Super Ordinary. That's it. So
yeah.
Let me pull that. I want to pull that up because I want to give that guy his. I like that
his druthers.
Yeah, I like that we find new talent on this show and share it with everybody because I think that's important to what lore is. So this is
this is shot beautifully.
I mean, like, yeah, everything about this is
it's good. I would say to everybody who listens and watches this, if you find stuff like this, send it our way because let's see, we could probably show a little bit of this, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like when it comes to creativity,
can you hear it?
I have done.
Yep.
By the way, imagine how many dongles that guy has.
A lot of things I like to try and make.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
I only get one short life, and I want it to be rich and colorful and well lived.
The DP work is insane.
To quit my job and
This opening is.
This is perfection, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
Wait, just wait.
What does he have for viewers? What's he got?
38,000 subs.
Wow.
But then I remembered I had responsibilities.
Oh man.
So I mean like that. I just want to just like this guy, 38,000 subscribers. This was uploaded 8 days ago. He has 255,000 views on it.
Did you reach out to him?
I have not actually yet. But I think we need to. This guy is. I mean, this is the sort of stuff that just beautifully rides the line. There's nothing in this that's like, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Like it's like, make sure you watch till the end, whatever. Just the cinematography and the storytelling is what captures it. And so I just think it's just, I mean, just shout out to Super Ordinary for that. And I can't wait to see what I watched the whole thing and I was like, this guy is getting a subscription and a notification and a thumbs up. Like I did all the things but because that video is not attractive to an algorithm in the normal way,
in the traditional sense. Yeah.
In the traditional sense. And so, I mean, he goes and it really what it is, he does a design and logo, but really it's like a history episode on the history of this local sandwich shop and what it means for the community. It's unbelievable, man. Like I want to
get the backstory.
Yeah, it's, and so I just think, that is, there's so much good talent out there. And, I think the distribution platforms and stuff in the future are the ones that really purely reward the good content creators. And I think that's really going to be like the key especially for Gen Z and Gen Alpha as they come up. Especially when like human storytelling is going to be, it's really going to stand out among AI. In ways that AI just, I don't think is just going to be able to capture just the human element. Like that first scene of him saying, I quit my job, and then running out, and then, but I got a family. Like, right? Like that's so human. And
the reveal.
Yeah, I know. I know.
How did you find out about it?
It just was in my it was in my algorithm. It just, like every now and then, like for some reason, my YouTube algorithm, is probably because I watch it, it'll just share stuff with like 100 views on it, and I'll just like click on it and just. Or just like I think the algorithm sends out stuff as tests to like probably incremental people. And then based on how they react to it, it sends it out more. So it's got 100,000 more views than when I initially watched it. But I just think, I'm always looking out for stuff like that. And just, so shout out to Super Ordinary for that. It's just tremendous work.
Marcus, I just want to note, you are not an incremental person.
I am not an incremental person. I'm full on.
Yeah.
Well,
don't ever sell your shirt.
Before I give the answer to the question, I'm going to answer Victor's question. When do we get to see Beards and Bikes? Yeah. It's up. You can watch it right now. It is there. So if you
Beards and Bikes,
FolkLOOR.tv. Thank you guys for funding Beards and Bikes. And every episode of season 2 of Fleur de Lis is now funded as well. So that's tremendous. And so Ethan's got work to do.
He does.
So I'm super excited for every Fleur de Lis episode that comes out. It's amazing, and excited about Beards and Bikes too. So who's the creator of that show? Shout out that.
That is Daniel Scott.
Daniel Scott, yeah. So shout out to Daniel Scott.
Incredibly talented filmmaker.
Yeah,
No relation to Ridley Scott.
Probably not. I didn't ask though. I'll find out. Well, and while the band, I believe, sent over the closing song. So here was our what did we call it? Trivia lesson.
Jason's trivia lesson.
So the technology for cable invented in 1948. In 1950, it was turned into a system that could be put into other people's houses, but it was regulated to protect over-the-air TV. But then deregulated in 72, premium cable launches. And then in 1976, TBS becomes the first basic cable network to launch. But in 1975, in order to test the new technology of the satellites and coaxial that they had developed, they broadcast a famous sporting event. And our question is, what is that sporting event? So the first thing broadcast across the basic cable system before it was launched was the 14 rounds of Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier III, the Thrilla in Manila. So it was a rebroadcast. Yeah, so it was originally broadcast on premium cable on HBO, but they rebroadcast it over the new basic cable system to test it in late 1975 before they launched in 76.
Wait, the Thriller in Manila was originally launched on HBO?
On HBO, yeah.
But how did it air on HBO if there wasn't cable in the homes then?
So they had premium cable systems, but it had to go directly into homes. The basic cable is the ability for a network through satellites to send it to all of the premium cable systems that were out there. So there were premium cable systems, but there wasn't anyone connecting all of it, which is what became what we call basic cable.
Got it. Awesome. That's
a good one.
So
that's a great trivia lesson for us, man.
Funny, I thought it was bowling or boxing, but I wouldn't have known any of the details.
But see, you've heard of the Thrilla in Manila, right?
Yeah. Well, there's a documentary.
Oh, it's an incredible documentary. That's when you realize that Muhammad Ali is that everything he says about himself is true. That he's really, really smart. And nobody took that seriously. So he set up Joe Frazier with all of those interviews saying, going to float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm going to come in hard. I'm going to be swinging and jabbing and all this. And then he gets in there and all he does is block until Joe Frazier wears himself out for 10 rounds or something. And then he starts throwing punches finally at the end when Joe Frazier is too tired. It's just brilliant sportsmanship.
That everybody thinks he's dumb, but he's actually pretty brilliant. Reminds me of Trump as well, right? He plays the media, right? He gets everybody wound up in the media, and then I don't know. I mean, this is not on topic, but did you see Bill Maher when he was talking about his time with Trump and how the person he met wasn't at all the same person that he presents himself on TV? And I was watching, I was like, well, duh, like obviously, like I was like, that was like just, it's so obvious to me that there's two different sides he puts out, and you guys are just taking all the bait. Like they were saying that in 2020. I mean 2016, people were saying that. But anyway, I'm glad you came around, Bill.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
Oh, Bill. So, hey, what's the band got for us?
The band's ready to go, Jason?
Yeah, I sent it over to you.
All right, here it is.
Woke up this morning, turned on basic cable. Channels all blurry, stories unstable. Got the mail, prayed for no more spam. Instead, I found a note from Uncle Sam. Too many dongles tangled in my soul. Charging cords breaking, taking their toll. Boxing in Manila, legends on display. But I'm stuck here figuring tech today.
Wow.
This is Mariachi Ska?
Mariachi Ska.
I'm down, dude. I'm down.
This
Jones Chargers busted, sparks fly like wild. Apple said no warranty, they just smiled. SNL skits running on loop all night. Based humor flying, man, it feels so right. Too many dongles tangled in my soul.
Yeah.
Charging cords breaking, taking their toll.
It's great.
Boxing in Manila, legends on display. But I'm stuck here figuring tech today.
Let's hear this next verse.
I'm into this one.
Nate on stage hosting, gold statue shine. Stories told, laughing, crossing the line. But here I sit, connections all amiss. Technologies laugh, mocking my bliss. Mariachi ska soundtrack of my feet. Horns and strings pulling me off my seat. The chaos surrounding, yet here I dance. Juggling dongles, cables in a trance.
Wow, that note.
Lyrics are
that note.
They nailed it.
Wow. This is for sure gonna make the ball.
Yeah, this is like top. This is top. This is the best one we've done so far.
Yeah.
This is the best one. That is actually mariachi stuff. I don't know how you.
Yeah, I'm down, guys. I'm down. I want to anyway, I just want to say thanks to everybody for coming. That we need more mariachi ska in our lives for sure.
It's true.
So yeah, so thanks everybody for coming. Thanks everybody for being a part of the show, and we will see you all next week.